Let's go over the hip 90-90 stretch. And this is going to be a passive, long duration hold, great for after activities, after workouts. You are going to get in a hip 90-90 position. So again, make sure that your front knee is at 90, your back knee is at 90, and try to get this front shin in line or parallel with the plane of your shoulders. So from right here, I am going to lean forward first. And what I like to do is, you can start with a flat back and eventually start to get that whole posterior line lengthening out. But what I like to do is think of getting my belly button towards my thigh. Second aspect is I like to try to explore whichever range of motion or arc feels tight or restricted. Some days it might be out to the left, some days it might be out to the right, other days it might just be straight forward. And what I'm going to do here whenever I'm holding a long stretch, just focus on breathing through the nose and trying to relax into that tension as much as possible. Moderate discomfort is okay, but you want to try to release and relax into that tension. After you do a few deep breaths here, anywhere from 6 to 10 deep breaths, I usually coach 30 to 60 seconds worth. Then what I'll do is I'll come upright, and this is my position 2. So I like to push the hip forward, get my hips into extension, and then try to relax and work my hip down to the ground. I don't want to feel like I'm stretching my obliques. I want to feel like I'm mobilizing my hip. Sometimes if you're really tight, through my experience, you might not feel too much, but the more that you get into this position, the more your muscles, everything around your hip will start to relax and you'll start to feel a stretch. That might be in the front of your hip, might be in your groin, adductor area, but try to relax as much as possible. That's the second position. The third position, we are going to sit this hip backwards. I'm going to try to turn my spine, my torso, my belly button into this back leg. And I'm going to feel a good stretch deep in my hip, deep external rotators, just overall hip muscles. And I'm going to try to stay upright and really try to breathe and relax into this hip internal rotation range of motion. So really try to relax there. After you do this, of course, you can go through another round, but typically I hold each position for about 6 to 10 breaths. Then you can flip over. I'm actually gonna show you this view so that we have a different camera angle. But again, hip 90-90, you can't really see it too well, but both knees at 90. Again, stretch the front leg, try to really relax into that hip stretch on your front leg. After that, you are going to come upright again. So extending the hip. Notice that from the side view, my shoulders, my hip, my knee on this back leg is all in a straight line. I'm pushing my hips forward and trying to relax it to the ground and trying to get as upright as I can without feeling too much of an oblique stretch. I want to mobilize this hip again. And then the third position, sit back. I am going to turn into this back leg and really try to relax into this hip internal rotation position and breathe through your nose and stay nice and tall. So that is the 3 positions that I like to do for your hip 90-90 stretch. It's a great way again to increase that hip mobility, increase that rotational window, mobilize your hip, get to all of these end ranges, and help to facilitate mobility and recovery, especially if you're doing a lot of lower extremity, lower body work.